things to manage here. Hello, 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 hello. It's David Dawson. This is Intellectual University coming at you with the cast and crew of Bittersweet Fortune and Discontinuance. There's a whole bunch of us on the call today. I'm going to unmute everybody. Everybody say hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi there. What's up, everyone?
And I see people are still joining us. Like, hi, Linda Skeens just joined us in. Hello. So with all the people we've got going in this, let me go ahead and just jump right in and start introducing people. I'm David Dawson. I was executive producer, and I guess some people have been calling me the kind of crazy mastermind of what we tried to do on this particular 48-hour weekend. I directed Bittersweet Fortune. Diego Robles and Leon Bejar are our co-directors of Discontinuance. Hello, Diego.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, and it looks like we may have lost Leon. So if he comes back, we'll say hi to Leon. Moving on, we've got the screenwriter for Discontinuance, Martin Gomez. Hello, Martin.
Good to see you, David.
Good to see you. I like the UFO above your head. Very
it's very fitting.
Thematic for what we got going on here.
Is that a spoiler though? Are we not?
Well, people should have seen these movies already, or they may or may not have.
For not for us, for other people.
No, hopefully everybody joining in has already seen the films. They've been available for a while. Leon had just joined us back. Hi, Leon, co-director of Discontinuance.
I think he's muted.
He's muted. Let's see if we can unmute him.
Got it.
Hey, Leon.
It kind of faltered a little bit here.
No worries, no worries. It's going good. We also have Brian Keith Davis, who is one of my co-producers.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
And Jen Allen, also one of my producers.
Hello.
And also our location manager. And then we've got Linda Skeens, who is the AD for both of these films.
Ooh, hello.
Which is an incredible, crazy, wonderful, amazing thing that you did that weekend. And we'll get into that more as we go forward. And then we got three of our primary actors online. Shane Allen, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Randy Davison, hello.
What's up, guys?
And Ron Christopher Jones.
What's going on?
That's what Intellectual University has been needing since the start. It was more Ron Christopher Jones.
Yeah, it's like the cowbell. Like the cowbell. You can't deal with that.
And we also have the director of photography for Discontinuance, Mike Peterson, on.
What's up?
Hey.
So, this was a 48-hour film project, but it was a bit different from the way most people approach their 48s. We did 2 films in the weekend, which is insane enough. And this was, I believe, the 3rd time that my film team had made this kind of crazy decision to do 2 in a weekend. But on top of that, we made a decision to, and this is what we decided ahead of the project. Not everybody knew it coming into it, but we made the decision ahead of the project that we were going to make 2 movies that shared a story. And I know that was incredibly challenging in a lot of different aspects, not the least of which is just the nature of the 48. You're given a genre, line of dialogue, prop, and a character that your film has to have. And the line of dialogue, the character, and the prop, they can be the same in both films because that's the same for all the 48s for the weekend. But the genre for these 2 movies was different. And we wouldn't know what those genres would be. We didn't know what we were going to write at all ahead of time. And Martin, you and Marianne Bates were our screenwriters for these 2 films. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like trying to figure out how to create 2 films with very different genres that narratively were able to link together the way we did them?
One word: chaos. I think. Another one word: challenging. No, it was definitely. It was definitely an experience. It's like one of those things. That's what anyone who's done the 48 can relate. It's like when you're in the moment, it's just anxiety, and then you're, frustrations, anxiety, pressure, especially I'm sure Mariana, I don't want to speak for her, but I'm sure she felt the same ways. We already had a lot that we were trying to get done, right? During this short amount of time. So we feel a lot of pressure at the forefront of it to get something that not only works, fits the genres, fits the vision that Dave wanted to do, but also that's some kind of quality, entertainment quality. So it was definitely a challenge. And then you kind of like at the end of it, you look back and you're just like, that was pretty fun, right? That was insane. I'm not 100% sure I want to do it again, but I was really happy, especially once we got to see the movies and they got well received and they were fun and it was good and it was a good experience, man. I'm sure I know everybody here has, but the people at home that haven't done the 48s in the past, you don't have to make 2 movies. Start with 1, right? David is a crazy person and he will try to do these types of things, but if it's your first time, start with 1. Work your way up to 2. David, we're doing 3 next year, right? Me and you discussed. Right?
It's a trilogy. You got to have a trilogy.
See looks of panic across the Zoom.
Oh goodness.
Oh, that's a spoiler. Sorry, I'll let David do the
That
announcement. It was going to come at the end of this. I'm sorry, man.
But we also didn't want to do just like an extra long short. We didn't want to make it like, okay, part 1 and part 2. We wanted to
because
really...
that was the other edict, was that the 2 films had to stand on their own as well.
Right.
Yeah.
They couldn't just be like, oh, we made 2 movies that really are 1 movie. No, these are 2 separate stories that happen to share a lot of the same backbone. But
and we put that into the challenging box.
Right? Yeah, you can view either one without the other and still have a satisfying film.
And really quick, David, quick question. What were the 2 genres that we got? One of them was sci-fi, obviously.
One was sci-fi and the other one was
Martial
coming
art.
of age.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like,
I can see how those
romantic
go
comedy. Perfect.
So
your peanut butter and my chocolate,
So yeah, so the challenge was putting that stuff together. I was doubly challenged in trying to manage this whole process as well, because Brian and I, the 2 lead producers arguably on the project, we were both working up in Santa Monica on a show. We were doing a multicam live stream show for nurses.com on that Friday. And we had to be in Santa Monica at like 6:30 a.m. on Friday. So we left Oceanside at like 4:30 a.m. Friday. And while you guys were at the kickoff and finding out what the genres were and stuff, I was literally doing a directing a multicam live stream. And I had my iPad open and I was getting messages from the team on what was going on and typing messages on one hand and switching on the
In
other.
all caps, right? Just frantic.
It was
Where are you?
But yeah, it was nuts. And then Brian and I had to make that drive down to the set, and our set was all the way out in Hamul. So it was about as far away in San Diego County from Santa Monica as you could possibly be.
Can
So it
I
was a
also
long
add
drive.
that can I add something to that house we shot at?
No, you can't. No.
Escape.
Only under penalty of law, Randy.
All right.
I just
You
thought it
said
was-
you wouldn't. You said you wouldn't.
I just thought it was a nice bit of trivia that the pool at that property was shaped like a penis. That was bizarre, right?
I don't remember. What was it?
I've been
may have
told
been
that
alcohol.
numerous
It may
have been
times.
alcohol.
So.
Oh, was it
Yeah.
covered? Was it covered? Is that why?
I don't know if it's on purpose, but
I wasn't invited
clearly.
in the penis pool. That's all I'm saying. So
You're busy. That's writers never
I
are.
feel left out. Is that what you guys were doing while I was
Pools are for the actors and
bleeding on the page?
Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Whitney.
Yeah, Kimberly and Whitney have joined us. Hello.
Hey.
Let's do their introductions real quick. Whitney Wegman Wood was our lead actress. Hello. Whitney.
Hello.
And
Hi.
Kimberly Scott,
Kimberly.
wonderful crew member who stepped up and became an actor when we found ourselves short an actor for the things that we needed.
Hello, everyone.
Got to play opposite Ron Christopher Jones.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about the kind of insanity of the 2 films and narratively linking them together. before we get into watching it. Do you guys have anything you want to say in regards to what it was like to be on there the day that we started this? And Martin described coming up with the stories as chaos.
So I guess from my perspective, this is the first time I worked with all of the people on this screen right now. And it felt like a trial by fire.
Yeah, I guess I should also mention it's one of the things that my team does differently from a lot of other teams in regards to how we handle 48s or how we handled 48s, in that everybody was expected to be on site Friday until we were done. Actors done usually Saturday night or early Sunday morning, and then the rest of the crew all the way through to the end. So people camp out, people sleep. I mean, we happened to be at a party house that had a ton of mattresses available for people, not to mention rooms with
Wouldn't say
Yeah,
weird,
this is the same house
weird
anyone
decor.
doesn't know, this is the same house we used for the last film, Recency Effect.
Decency, yeah.
So,
I
with
slept
the
in
million
closet.
locations in one location.
Yeah.
You'll recognize some stuff.
I miss that place.
Yeah, so people showed up Friday night, and basically it was a big, overnight party. Everybody hanging out. The writing team, I believe I heard that you guys locked yourselves in a room so you were away from the crowd at a certain point. Is
That
that
sounds about
correct?
right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into that right now or after we watch the movies, but yeah, I think that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah.
Just so, because I think we started from my recollection with a big group of people with a lot of ideas, and we had to kind of scale that back, and then
It's a process of
lock ourselves away from everyone.
I
People
view it
just
as
knocking on the-
chiseling away a
Yeah.
sculpture, right? Like we
Yeah.
start with this giant block of stone,
Right.
Now we
and we
Now
So
just
we
all feel
started
like
at the
that.
poker table. I don't know if you guys remember. We
Yeah.
all started at the poker
The
table.
poker
and all of a
table.
sudden, Martin and Marianne were just like, "This is too much. We got to get out of here."
Yeah,
Boom,
we
to
went,
the
I think we
room,
went and we
closed the door.
sat in that. There was like an old carousel or something in the back, in the backyard. I think we went and we sat there, and we were just like, all right, just let's get away from the noise for a minute and try to figure out, because our biggest challenge was not coming up with scenes or ideas or this or that. It was just how to connect the two, how to make it one story. So eventually what we came up with is like one beginning that we both share, and then we see.
and then an ending that we both share.
Ways. Yeah, and that seemed to make the most sense. But yeah, to get to that place, there was steps.
Yeah, and usually when we make these, I kind of stand there and kind of whittle away myself at the various ideas until we're down to the things that I feel like we can write a script from. But because I wasn't there, it was kind of a little maybe more chaotic than normal. Plus, it was coupled with this 2-film idea. Because I remember at a certain point I had to tune out what you guys were doing on my iPad because I had to focus on this shoot that Brian and I were on. And we eventually packed up our stuff. We left the gig early so that left other people to tear down the show. And we hopped in the car to start driving down. And I called you. And by the time I called you guys, Martin, you and Marianne had kind of figured out what it is you wanted to do. And you were getting ready to go right, but you wanted to walk me through the concept beforehand. So I was driving. I think I had FaceTime on with the phone on the dash where I could look down the street and see you guys at the same time. And you guys pitched your idea to me and I loved it. I was over the moon at the idea.
And we were happy that you were, because we didn't want to start from scratch again. That would've been the worst.
With that said, let me pull up the movie here and we can watch the movies together. We will go. See, pause. Let's see here. Okay.
Hey, Martin, would you say that it was a writer's carousel instead of a writer's room, or?
Well, that's not what we wrote, but that's where we came up with the ideas. Yeah, on the writer's carousel from hell.
I just imagine both of you just oh man, right around the carousel.
We looked for exits, but there were none where you guys would not see us running out. So we,
The
Very
carousel.
Simpsons moment.
we didn't know where the hell we were too. We're like, dude, I
Yeah.
I remember some
I
of
hear
us,
some
some of
gunshots
us
off
actors
in the
found it
distance.
quite
It wasn't a
nice
penis
to,
pool. There was no penis pool.
yeah.
All right, guys, let's watch this movie together. Here we go. We'll watch both movies actually, and then we'll have more conversation. But and play. Let me know if it's too loud for you guys. Okay. Discontinuance. Who came up with that title?
It was I think it was a couple of choices, and we ended up on that one. I think there was like 3 choices. I don't remember particularly what.
Because I'm real particular with titles.
You want to turn me into a widow?
That's my sister Laura.
She was so sick.
Woo!
She was battling a kidney stone that whole
Yep.
weekend. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't-
right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she'd do her scenes and she'd go in one of the back rooms and cry.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to go home now.
Oh,
Whitney
wit
the
in her
crimp hair.
crimping. Give that retro feel.
Dinner was good, Monkey.
So now this is one of the shared scenes between the two films,
Henrietta, I'm talking to you.
but this is edited differently from the way it
really
is
wish you wouldn't make
in the other one.
The lines are a little different too between the two.
Yeah, they took some lines from each.
It's not about you
Slightly
spending
different
time
in both,
with her.
yeah.
It's about you
Different.
spending
And-
time with me.
Which I thought was
I
A
work
lot of
60 hours
this
a week.
was,
The only time I can see you is in my house. I want you to
Shane
start
and
taking
Whitney,
some
you guys just figured this
responsibility
out
in
on the
office
spot. You're like, can
and
we,
start
just
working
kind
toward a
of
goal.
I don't
go for it? And
to do what you do. I don't want to work for you.
this is actually shot sitting in a dirt
I
lot
just
with
wanted to go
just
visit mom today
lights
and
that
not have
swing
to
by
deal
and-
with your wife.
and a little
not gonna
shake
make
to the
me the
car
bad
here and
guy.
there.
There was what was it? 3 cameras or 4 cameras set up?
Yeah, I think it was 3.
It
Did
just
one
seems like
straight
you moved
on, and
It's
then
not fair.
yeah, and we
not
just
fair.
moved that
It's
one
been
at
2
different
years.
times for different takes, the straight on one, and then one
Right.
for
I
each
miss her
window.
every day.
Well, I find multicam really helpful, especially if you've got actors who are ad-libbing lines.
Look, work makes
Yeah.
me happy.
Definitely.
Drinking
felt like
makes
this
you
worked.
happy.
What you don't know is that James Robb is in the back seat doing sound. And between takes, he and I were doing impersonations of Harry Carey all
I
morning
love this
long.
scene. This is one of my favorite scenes.
That's
I
right.
remember
This
shooting
is
all the
Mike
lights.
Smith.
to drive the cars out.
Wait,
onto the
That's
big-
cool.
Yeah, I had that. We were gonna just try to get the car parked close to the house as possible. We still would have had to run extension cord after extension cord, and I was like, what if we just circle with everyone else's cars? We had plenty of cars out there.
And that shot right there,
Good call, Mike.
Shane is just sitting on the back of a truck and just simply lifts his feet
Yeah.
off the ground.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah, Hollywood.
simplest, most beautiful shot. And then Mike Smith, sat and did all the special effects.
It turned out really solid. Like
Which was crazy.
Yeah,
Mike
you're right.
killed it. He did a great
I've
job.
always
You have to
wanted to
black
do an
out a whole lot
abduction
of the-
scene.
You have to black out a whole lot of the truck. I remember that on the inside.
Yeah.
I thought watching it being filmed from the outside was amazing.
Is
Just
the
to
probe?
have all the cars surrounding it. It's kind of like, what the hell is going on here?
oh yeah, anybody who drove by was
Very
probably like, what is this?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
probe is the anal probe in the deleted scenes.
This is
I
the
love
only.
that.
This is the only shot not on the property.
The one other location.
And we did it super quick. We were just like, go, 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 go.
Oh, super fast.
Now this is the
And now
same
this is the
bar
same bar
from the
as-
recency effect. Yeah.
Just
In
we
that
just
house.
shot the side and not the end.
And that bar's in that house.
Yeah,
Yep, that's
that
the
house
old
is
garage.
crazy.
Crazy.
Somebody asked me yesterday, did you add a face mask to the magazine? Is that a new edition? I said no. Just happened to be that way.
This is a classic improv.
I believe
bite.
face mask was the prop.
It was. I had to go pick up.
Oh,
pick up
it
a pack of
was.
them.
Randy, don't you call her a skeezer?
Skeezer.
Teaser.
Come on, you skeezer.
Teaser.
This Randy Davidson
Teaser.
improv.
That was my. Yeah, that was ad lib. Should have got a writing credit for that one.
Geezer.
I'll let you duke that out with
Show
Martin.
me a man drinking whiskey
Derek.
at noon.
Remember Derek?
I'll show you a man who's got a
Yep.
happy lady at home.
Dinner.
Ting. Now I love Shane Allen in this scene because he barely says anything.
Oh, let me show you my
All his performance is on his face.
Yeah,
Lovely.
It was
work
really
done
good.
here.
very good.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
really
you.
good scene. I really.
We
This,
did-
this
we
was
did
my
quite-
favorite scene.
I think it's one of my favorites.
Who lit
This
this?
is Randy before Tiger King.
Yeah, she hates
Who lit this?
Well, that'd be
Good
you.
job.
That'd be you and me, sir.
No, that was you,
I
man.
just ended up back here at this bar.
That was the advantage of knowing it from recency. And I'm like, okay, same place, but I want to change it completely 180 from what we did in recency. So
Nice.
Yeah, recency was all dark, and this one's all lit. Like, it's very cool because it looks like a totally
It's so
different
lit.
bar.
Glad mine didn't turn
Oh,
out.
it's so lit.
I've done something right.
Shane's a method actor. We had to abduct him the night before.
You didn't hear that? This girl, her daddy,
That's why he looks
I was
that
gonna
way.
say,
That was no
you,
makeup or
you
anything.
and Randy, Ron, are probably the only people that realize just how not
Of course,
method I am.
Even stepmama tried to
By
get
method, you mean a lot of whiskey and we are method.
Well, that is my method.
Whiskey. That's a method.
Yeah.
Just
Raise
whiskey.
your inhibitions.
She got off.
Yeah, we were up all night.
Oh, these
talking about
effects,
what to do.
man.
I love the effects.
So this,
Can we
this
get-
monster was created by Mike Smith over the course of the weekend. He sat there when we first said we
Totally.
needed
It was amazing.
alien. He
Yeah.
sat there in the dining room with his computer
Yep.
and from scratch created that alien. And
Yeah.
then we came up with the shots that we wanted. And I was like, oh, can you have it where it's from Shane's point of view, where he's looking up at the light and the alien comes up and covers the light? And
Of course.
I think he started working on that before we finished the script.
Oh, I cringe at this time lapse.
It's one of
This is
your
early-
early
this is-
time lapses.
This is early in my time lapse. Oh,
Good though. It's good.
It worked for what we needed, Mike.
fiction one. This
Yep.
was from
Yeah,
Shane's
it
point
worked
of
for
view.
what we needed.
Reshoots? Mike, what do you think?
Did we get these in on time? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
Wow.
movies got in
Yeah.
on time.
Crazy.
I think Diego and Leon were rendering out
Driving,
on the
rendering.
drive. Yeah.
Very nice.
We're all
But we were so far away, they had plenty of
Dude.
time on the drive.
What happened is on the first export, the audio wasn't synced with the video, and so on the drive back, we had to line it up and re-export.
Didn't we borrow somebody's
Yeah, somebody's God, what is it?
what is it?
That last moment was shit.
Yeah, the power source and
Yeah,
plugged
like
in
the power
computer
converter
and-
you plug into the cigarette lighter.
Yeah, and it sucked because like we were
on
Diego
drives
had been
there.
working on it for so long that like on the way was like, oh, it's 50% battery. I was like, fuck. So we had to like really like rev that engine, baby. Like, ooh, let's go.
And it helped that David lied to us as to like when the turn-in time was.
Oh yeah, he was like, it's an hour earlier. We're like, what? And then we got there. It's like, no, you're good. God damn it.
I know how to manage my team.
That's power right there, man.
The only downside is now we know. Project.
That's the battle, right?
You'll never know when I'm stretching time or not because it's not consistent.
You're gonna find a new.
He's the mad scientist that came up with the idea. Come on.
So here's the other
What
film.
are you gonna do?
Oh, here we go.
Bittersweet.
Round two.
So this is all from Whitney's point of view.
Yeah.
This is the coming of age film.
Sorry.
And I like that the shared stuff isn't all exactly the same. Like, even though it's the shared portions of the film between both, they're both edited slightly differently to emphasize one or the other's viewpoint. It's like I chose to go with one take on this truck scene. Like we never leave Whitney's point of view. Like once we come to her.
Where did that magazine go to? Who has that?
was good,
I don't know.
I have the magazine.
Ah!
I was gonna say something else.
Safe and
I
sound.
wish you wouldn't make me spend
Nice.
time with that gold digging whore.
The gold digging
Not about
whore.
you spending time with
What I really like about
Line
this
skipper.
What I really like
reason
about
I
this
wanna
too,
spend time with
guys,
you, because I
is
love you, I
the
miss
power
you.
of
I work
actors
60 hours a
who
week. The only
know
time I
how to
can see you is in my
perform,
house.
and you don't have to
The
edit
second
around
reason
their
is, I want you to
performances.
start taking some responsibility
I was able to sit on
at the
this
office.
because Shane and Whitney were
I don't
so
wanna
good
take
in the scene.
responsibility at the office.
I
I
can
don't
sit on
want
it.
to do your job. I don't want to
Let's
work
play
for
that
you.
Go,
Dad.
go
very
straight through.
well.
I'm giving you the keys to the
That's why
kingdom.
we set. Yeah,
You work a
we
few
shot a
years,
lot
then
of
you never
these.
have to
The,
work again.
the original edit was
Except
only
for
going to
life.
be
You mean
from
like
the
your wife?
front or from
Yeah.
Whitney's side on this
I don't
movie,
wanna
and
have
then
to be
from the
like
front
her,
or
thanks.
Shane's side on the other
I wanna
movie,
be like
just to
Mom.
make
Okay,
them
you
in
be
the
like your
foreground
mom,
at all
too.
times. He's completely
Look, you're not
blurry
gonna
back
make me
there.
the
He's
bad guy.
not his story. It's
I just
her
I just
story.
wanted to go visit Mom today and not have to deal with your wife.
Oh, that freaked me out.
I love that alien.
It so freaked me out. Ah, this is my favorite scene of the whole movie. Is the cars with the lights, where knowing how you got this.
So
That
cool.
was
The first
cool.
time I saw that, that
Oh,
freaked
Drone,
me so
all of
bad.
it.
David, did they show these back to back at the actual screening, or was
Yeah,
Yes.
was back to back?
I had to like special request them to do it, but they
And
did.
even though there's some of these same shots there, the edit on them is slightly different in this whole scene. With her looking up, that's not in the other.
But it's definitely from her perspective. And I remember the lighting. Whoever worked on that lighting was like,
truth. You killed him.
it looked really good.
Shut up, Skank.
Show some respect.
If you were
Henrietta.
respectable,
There's
maybe I
a-
would.
Skanks and
Ladies,
skeezers.
please. All right,
Thanks,
let's do this.
Caesars.
I didn't kill my dad.
Here's what we have so far.
I wasn't even the one who wrote those.
And then a
That's what you should have
spaceship
called
came
it.
down and took
Skank,
your dad
skeezers,
to
and
outer
whores.
space. Does that sound about right?
One could be
And
Skank,
aliens.
the other could be
Now I've
Skeezers.
heard everything. Everything.
Give us a moment.
Marianne Bates wrote that the dirt lot filming was the best, especially when the cars were in a circle with the lights on.
Now,
Oh,
Can't
yeah.
imagine what the Border Patrol helicopter crew was thinking.
Right?
stands to gain the brunt of his fortune. Now, the stepmother does have a prenup, and she'll get $1 million. But
This is
only
Kimberly
if the daughter's
stepping in last minute for us to do this role.
For hours. They went to the grave.
Who was supposed to play it before?
But since she
Oh, wait.
Somebody.
He's scripty for this, wasn't it?
I don't get it.
I think it was supposed to initially be script supervisor.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes without
That was
saying
another
that
long,
the
like,
person
long
interested in
take
just
scene where they come to the foreground and then they go to the background.
When we find his
We
body,
didn't really shoot the camera at all.
when we find your dad, we will be.
I like the lighting,
So don't
though.
plan on going anywhere.
Yeah. Bill Bork was our DP on Bittersweet.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that room is the same room that we did the therapist scene in the recency effect. Looks totally
Oh,
different.
really?
Yep.
Hey,
This is the
Shane.
only set that's not in the other movie.
Yep.
This is my favorite.
Oh, funny.
That's Steve Schwartz.
Yep.
Steve
Steve
Schwartz on
Schwartz.
screen. Yep.
Steven. He's not on here right now.
He's watching the live stream.
Oh, gotcha. I like this emotion from Whitney.
That's a good one. I love that shot.
Are
Such a
people
great
asking
shot.
questions and talking on the live stream?
Yeah, I've got a screen. I can see their conversations.
Go get.
Yeah, this is how she's dealing with the loss of her dad.
My karate instructor.
Oh, wait.
Yes, karate.
Wait, I think we had martial arts was our other.
Martial arts.
Oh, that's
It was one of the
Had to have
alternates.
martial arts.
Oh, so we put everything in there?
Yeah, all 4 possible genres that we could use are represented in some way.
That's awesome.
We do that all the
Wow.
time. So.
Okay, overachiever. Jeez.
This is my cameo. That's me on the forklift.
Yep. And mine too. There we go. I have a little scene.
Oh, very
Hey,
nice.
Jen.
I've got all the masks in our hands.
I remember the arguments about how long they would have to wait, time-wise.
How Laura's looking out the window and you can't really see out the window.
Butcher
It looks
paper.
beautiful.
It's been over 8 years.
Yeah, we were fortunate to have 2 kick-ass DPs on these films. Like, wonderful.
Don't stop looking for him, will you?
It was fun when I actually got to work with Bill too.
We'll keep looking.
See how he kind of did
Show
stuff.
you out.
I still am blown away that this is all the same locations from the recency effect, because they look completely different.
Take it and leave.
Believe me, I will. You know, you were right about one thing. I never loved your father.
Laura was
It was fun casting my baby sister in the bitch role.
I can't wait to watch you run this company into the ground because I always told him you were a loser.
David, play nice.
Get the hell out of my house. Happy to do so. Bye.
Hey.
Jeez.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye. Such attitude.
Bye, Felicia was like the tagline of this.
You got me a Bye Felicia mug.
I did. Ugly cry face.
Ugly cry face. I love it.
There was one take. There was one take of that where she had a big like drip of snot coming out of her nose.
Oh, that would have deserved the.
And
like,
everybody
award.
who
Best
knew that
Actress
it
award.
existed was like, "Why didn't you use that take?"
Best Actress award right away.
It was real, like snot dripping
Yeah,
down her nose.
But it was gross. It was huge.
That's real, David.
I wish I would have just heard the snort. That's all I wanted to hear.
See, and that shot too was from her perspective going to open the door as opposed to his perspective going to knock. Same ending, slightly different viewpoint. So, and even that final shot, one was on the right, one was on the left.
Carlotta memory.
Yep.
Yeah, my mom had passed away just before all this. So. Oh, and music in these. This is the film. Someone asked on the recency fact if Jeffrey Beach had done any of the music on that. No, he did the music.
It was
on
this one. Yeah.
These are the films that he scored, and I love it. It's beautiful, simple guitar.
And he made it so quickly too. He like locked himself in a room for like an hour and a half in between making coffee for everyone and just totally whipped it out.
Making the perfect cup of coffee.
The perfect
Yeah,
coffee.
Perfect
the
cup.
perfect cut.
Yes.
Every time.
That man's insanely talented. Because he's also our drone pilot doing all those impossible drone shots.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
He talked about doing a documentary on coffee from, plant to cup.
Oh wow.
Coffee heart, right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Stop that now. Cool. Yay. Nicely done, everybody.
Seeing
Nicely
that
done.
again.
Well done.
Yeah, cool.
So, having watched it again, what stands out to everybody as like your favorite shot in the movie, or what jumps out at you as something you remember as being really challenging?
Sleep.
There you go.
We were
Perfect
so
answer.
No sleep.
Made it to the
Very,
the
very
last
very little sleep on this
in our
one.
film.
There was one point after we had done all of the driving shots, and then we went out and then where they slam on the brakes after the alien crosses the road. That was our end shot for Saturday at like 3:34 in the morning.
Yeah, it was just before sunrise.
Yeah, we get back and I look at Dave, who's been up for at this point.
I'd been up for 48 hours at that
48
point.
hours.
Yeah.
Because he had worked. And I saw his eyes literally chameleon and cross. And I go, Dave, you need to take a break. No, I can go to sleep. Take an hour, go to sleep. Because he wasn't even making sentences. It was no tracking at all in the eyes. It was hilarious.
I was gone. But I remember being very, very angry that people were telling me to do something. I didn't want to do.
Like a cranky.
There's a picture of me and Diego in the living room.
Tell the director to go to sleep.
1 hour nap. Like,
yeah, so I begrudgingly went to bed. I said I'm going to sleep for an hour, and I remember Jen saying, "You need to sleep for like 5." And I'm like, "I'm going to do an hour. All I need is an hour." They're like, "Give us your phone." I'm like, "No, I'm going to hold on to my phone." I laid on top of my phone, give them my phone, set it for an hour. It goes off an hour later, and I got up, and I swear to God, I didn't know where I was. I stumbled into the kitchen. I saw Mike Smith working on an alien. I'm like, "That looks really good, man." And he looks up at me and goes, you should be in bed."
Even after sleeping an hour, of course.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
Well,
Went back to
the
sleep.
tiring part is we were also editors on it, so it was like.
You guys get
and that was my
and I didn't know a
concern.
lick of editing. I was watching him edit, and like, I think this part cut a little bit here. Like, that's all. I was like trying to work through Diego to get the edit
Well,
done.
you and Diego locked yourselves in a room, as I recall.
We did.
and I sat at the bar and edited in the bar, and I think I made the first crack at editing the abduction scene, and I handed like that edit off to you guys. But I mean, outside of that, that was the only time that we shared an edit. Like,
was there a couple of scenes that you already had in mind of like that we're gonna, show on both movies, in both movies?
Yeah. So
Well, the knock at the door too.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I
No, that's
remember
awesome.
having the discussion with you and Diego after I kind of like penciled out on the scripts, like these are the sections that are going to be the same. I said, I'll take a first edit on the abduction because I kind of really knew how that primarily should cut.
At that point, I probably
but then I didn't want,
with
I
my
didn't,
eyes open.
you probably were, but I didn't want us, I didn't want us collaborating too much after a certain point because I wanted each.
I do remember that. I do remember that very well. Yeah.
So I thought we would take a final look together before all was said and done, but that ended up not happening.
You had to drive, man. We were driving.
You guys were re-rendered as we went.
No.
Trust the edit.
So we got a question of, was the drone shot coming down on Shane spinning, or was that in post? And I got to give Jeffrey Beach all the credit, man. That was a twisting, descending drone shot.
It was so good.
Yeah,
absolutely. One of my very
It was a decent shot.
And again, it was one of those situations where I said, "Hey, Jeffrey, so this is what I would like to see." And he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, that's not easy, right?"
Did you have to
He even did
stabilize
it
in that
backwards.
shot?
He tried to go up. It just didn't have the same effect.
Yeah, no, we didn't stabilize it at all. Like it's
Wow.
it's entirely how it was shot.
Wow,
and
that
it looks gorgeous. And what's cool is the way it like fluffed Shane's hair a little bit and everything from the wind. I mean, just
Another
all
brave
worked.
actor with a drone by the hair.
If only we would have had Randy's tiger.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a future it's gonna be a future contract negotiation if I could try to cast any actors. Like, first question, are you using any drones in this movie? Second
Going
question,
by my head.
can I get a stipulation of 6 feet of distance between me and the drone?
I really love the scene how that was lit with all the cars around the whole area, and how everyone turned on their lights of the trucks, and the whole place lit up. It was just
Okay, can I
real.
did one of the cars run out of battery? Am I?
Yeah, I think so. I think we had to jump somebody.
Whitney's car.
Like, take time to just.
Yeah,
somebody got to take care of that because we got to keep going. Like.
Well, I think we ended up like just turning them all on and letting them run after a while because we didn't want anybody else's car to need to be jumped.
Yeah, we didn't need audio
until what we did was
except inside
when we got
screams.
Yeah, when we got into the car, when Whitney's walking around, we just had one of the Priuses because it was quiet,
right
off to the side shooting.
Yeah.
Everything else we didn't have on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, Mike Smith added all the sparkles and dust and stuff
dust
like
effects and everything else. Yeah. But I remember that being such an exciting thing to do, to line all those cars up in the circle, and we wanted them all like evenly spaced, and we had to cut the drone footage right at the point where you would then see that they're all cars. So it had to only be within the context of what it could see when you didn't see all the vehicles in place. And then we were worried. I remember we were a little worried. I think you and Bill Bork both, Mike, were a little worried about what they would look like in the backgrounds. And for the most part, we just figured out, well, we only ever have one in the background. And if it's straight across from the camera, certainly the cameras we were using at the time didn't have enough dynamic range to see past the headlights.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he was using his Nikon. We used your Black Magic, and I think I used part of my Canon for some of it too.
Yeah. I don't think I didn't have a Black Magic yet. I had my T3i.
Yeah, I think
at
it was
the
just
time.
your
just
5D.
it was just Canons then. Okay.
Yeah, it was all the Canon cameras. Yeah. DSLRs, baby.
Yep.
And then the follow-up question to the drone shot was, and was it in reverse or did it hit him?
Well, you see he's alive, right? He's right there. I think we're good.
Didn't hit him.
He survived.
He had a unique haircut.
Might
when
have
it was
actually
done.
been in reverse. I mean, I don't remember.
I remember it pulling up, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think
he
that
might
ended
have-
up being
Going
how it works
up
best,
and
was spinning and moving away, and then we just reversed it.
At least we didn't scalp Shane.
Steven Schwartz posted in the live stream chat room. He says, Linda Skeens is my hero. Epic warrior queen of filmmaking. Couldn't finish it without you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. Thank you.
Being
Linda,
the AD in one film is enough, but then trying to make sure that each film is running smoothly and on schedule and sharing locations, and okay, you can be in here until 3:30, but then I need these actors over here, and then I have to use this space for the next shot. And
I am not used to being yelled at on my own set.
Just gonna say she was awesome.
in a good way.
But Linda flat out would not let me get away with anything. It was amazing.
There were just too many of you. I couldn't have any excuses.
Hard ass in a good way.
Like I said, cracking the whip, man.
She owned it.
Cracking
She
that
owned
whip.
it.
So fun.
Thank you, Linda. You were great.
You guys are great.
What
Who is going to be a mother to be?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't be so mean to your baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going to crack that whip with that kid?
You know it.
Don't be so mean to the baby.
It's going to be a little Linda. She's going to be cracking the whip.
Very demanding of her mother.
Linda,
Production.
what did you find was the most challenging thing to AD two films at the same time?
I never got to sleep, I don't think. So I think that was just the hardest thing. There was no rest. I was constantly worried about the next thing and thinking about what you guys were doing and just worried that we'd get it done on time. But everyone was so awesome. Like, I know I was being crazy running around, but everyone would look at me like, got it, we're under control, we're moving forward.
I think the lack of sleep helps.
It's reassuring. You think so? I was moving
think
quick
so.
with all that like caffeine in me, for sure.
I remember while I was editing, she would constantly come in. She's like, "You need a sandwich? You need to eat something?"
Oh yeah, I did make you guys sandwiches.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I remember her walking in.
She would offer, and then she'd say, "You got 5 minutes."
Yeah. That's what I remember was her walking in with constant time updates.
Totally.
Oh, is there anything you need? Now be done.
Yeah, basically.
She'd be very sweet. Is there
Is she
anything you
finished on
need?
that?
No. You have 5 minutes to finish what you're on. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
You have 5 minutes to finish
3
the
would be better.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Exactly, 3 would be better.
See? That's how it is. That's the thing right there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think I remember Linda telling you that we were going to tell Diego and Leon that they had an hour less than they thought.
Yeah, I think that was my idea, but I was kind of
That was
tired at that
amazing.
point. Sorry.
That's when the best ideas come. Just like, hey, just do it. Just go. Just
Right. It worked. You guys made it.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
If you'd have waited for that extra hour and then had that same render problem,
Oh god.
No. Yeah.
You'd have
I'm
been
waiting for the
screwed,
day
right?
for Dave to do a 48, but says it's a 24. We're good.
Anybody can do it. Dave can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to make everybody panic more, and Brian will understand this, we're going to make it rain during those 24 hours. Yeah, at least I didn't throw that to anybody on this one. I want to ask Shane, because you and Whitney were the two who acted across both films. Was there any consideration in your part about how your performance might be from one film to the other, or did it feel like to you like portraying just a cohesive character for one movie?
Do you want to go first, Whitney?
Oh, sure. For me, I felt like it was just one movie, honestly, because I mean, the way that we were going back and forth between shooting, I wouldn't have known, save for like Linda telling me which scenes belong to which movie. And it was one character with a through line in my mind. So it was just one movie for me, I think.
It kind of was for me too. I really didn't know the difference most of the time. I was like, I don't know. We're gonna have to look at it really hard.
It'll be up to the editors at that point.
Mm-hmm. They'll figure it out.
The
Fix
only
it in
way you
post.
knew which film you were on is the director's changed.
Yeah. Like, who am I talking to? I'll look around.
Yeah, for me, you know, I a lot of the stuff that we shot with Discontinuance, you know, working with Diego and Leon. So for me, it was kind of just being in that one film and trying to keep a through line and thinking about that. You know, the writing, I have to say, the writing was really good in this. It was awesome to have that to work with, because there was so much going on in the background. There was so much understory to it. So as long as I could keep, you know, thinking about the understory, the backstory, the difficulties with my wife, the difficulties with my daughter, the difficulties with me being off the world for 8 years, and then coming back and trying to figure out where I was and all that kind of stuff. It was just one big long adventure for me, and then of course, you know, just the whole weekend was an adventure as well. It's this, I have to say too, this is one of the funnest sets that I was going to say films, but there were 2 films, so it was one of the funnest sets I've ever been on, just because, you know, Ron and Randy and I hung out quite a bit together. It was the first time I got to work with both of those guys, and first time I worked with just about everybody on set.
We didn't.
But we had so much fun, and it was just it was rich writing. And you know, as an actor, that's all you hope for, is that you get something that's got a lot of undertow or understory to it, backstory to it, and then you're working with someone like Whitney, who was available and accessible and like earnest about, you know, what she was doing. So it was a really great experience.
Oh, Shane, I feel the same way about you. I think it was great. Like, so many of those scenes we got to improv, and you were so willing to play, which was wonderful.
Yeah,
and
and
the thing that got me, the last scene, I can't remember now, because I don't know if it made it into the film, but whatever you said when you opened the door. Oh, I think you called me Pooh Bear or
Monkey.
Monkey.
Well, you and I had a conversation, and I was asking you lots of questions about your own relationship with your dad. And so I used the nickname that he used to call you.
Yeah, but you didn't know that the first time that you said it.
I think I got it from my best friend. That's what he calls his daughter. And I think I just told Shane to say it when you opened the door. And I think.
Oh, okay.
And I
I
think
thought
when you opened
knew
it,
that it was hers. Yeah, I thought you knew.
I had
that.
no idea, but I think you built on it later, because I think after that scene you did the stuff in the car, and that's where it was mentioned again. I think, right?
Yeah, you said it twice.
Yeah, I think that's something you guys came up with. I don't think it was in the original script, because I vaguely remember somebody coming up to me at like 3 or 4 in the morning being like, hey, we need a nickname. And I'm like, I don't even know my own name right now. You guys, let me do this. You guys go workshop the nickname thing. It worked.
It was perfect.
It worked out great, because her reaction was just so sincere as soon as you said that and you opened the door.
Now, Ron Christopher Jones and Randy Davison, I know the 2 of you were super excited to be on a 48-hour team together, because you're finally going to get to work together.
We still have.
And then you ended up not working together.
Oh my goodness. So the night before, you know, the thing about the 48 as an actor is you look at the genre as well, and you start to kind of figure out, I wonder what it's going to be like. And you kind of come up with your own sort of thing that never actually turns out to be. So Shane, myself, and Randy were hanging out, talking about the scenes we're going to do. And hopefully we had some like really powerful scenes. And you know, we may have been acting them out that night. And then the next day, I was not acting with those guys at all. Like, not even in the same movie. I wasn't even in the same movie. And that's how David sold me on this. Hey man, Shane's in it. It was very interesting. And then poor Whitney, like, you know, I'm acting with her, but you know, whatever she's saying, I'm not buying at all. So You know, I didn't get to have the great scenes that the great moments, touching moments that Shane had either. It was just like, yeah, right. Where's your dad? You know.
Bark, bark, bark.
You did great, Ron.
It was fun though. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the process and being a part of it, and hanging out with Shane and Randy, even though I didn't get back with them.
Now, as I recall, Ron, you had some facial hair when you showed up. So we shot like the later scenes first, and then the earlier scenes for you last, so that you could shave and be clean shaven for the earlier stuff, and then have some facial hair for the stuff that's 8 years later. It's great. It's great if you're an actor. This is just a suggestion. If you're an actor and you can grow facial hair, grow it before you come. So we have the options to do things like that.
Or grow your hair like Mikey for recency, you know.
Yeah.
Mikey's got the quarantine cut going right now.
Yep.
Seen a lot of that.
So
But David might ask you to shave, or he might ask you to cut your hair. That director.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. But hey, I do it myself for roles that I'm in. So
yeah.
Which recently when I saw those pictures, I was like, nice. I loved it. For Kung Fu Ghost, oh my God, man. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. He was going full monk with that. I love it.
So this is a question specifically about Randy Davison, and he might be able to figure out who's asking it when I ask it. Let's see if he can figure out who asked this question.
I'm gonna go
Is
see.
Randy a pain in the neck to work with?
My wife is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Mark, but
No, it's not your wife. That's Clark Smith.
Oh, hey, come on, Clark. What about the nicest guy and 3 people in the world?
Steve Schwartz says that he remembers Shane was so worried about doing a 48 because he'd had such a bad experience previously. Shane, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the experience was worlds apart. I don't want to get myself or anyone else in any trouble. So the experience I had with the other one was he sat down. I was on the writing team for that one, and we had, I don't even remember what genre it was, but we picked one genre, and so these guys are talking about the story they want to do, and I go, but that's not in the genre. And they go, I don't care. I go, wait a minute. We got like a couple of hours to write this thing, and you don't want to write a story about the genre that we got? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, why are we doing this? Why are we putting ourselves through 48 hours of no sleep if we're just going to be disqualified? And they're like, oh, we won't get disqualified. I go, I've never done this before, but I kind of think you got to follow the rules a little bit. And then there was like no shot list. I mean, and 48, it's hard to do that, but I mean, it was just like so from the hip, seat to the pants. It was crazy. So I was like, if this is what 48 hours is like, why am I going to put myself through all this?
Right.
So then when I met you, David, and we started talking about it, and you were talking about how you do films, it was, like I said, it was a world of difference. And I'm very glad that I did it. Very glad.
I remember all of us at Film Awards meeting Shane. Dave, you introduced, and that's where you asked Shane to do it, and he was like, if you're doing it, yeah, I'll do it. And it was fun.
It was. It was a
I
great
roped
time.
him in while he was enjoying all of our nominations at award at the Film Awards.
Hey, I'm glad we
just
were able
standing there with the trophy in each hand, pitching him.
I feel like that's how you roped a lot of people.
Got
Dave.
my best director trophy. I got my visual effects trophy. I'm like, hey, Shane, you want to make a movie?
I'd shake
Christopher
your
Jones,
hand,
you want to
but,
make a
I
movie?
got
Hey, I got this location,
have
you
a hand.
guys. Let's do it. We only had that location for a particular period of time. We no longer have access to it. So I'm so glad we were able to do the movies that we did at the time.
There's no way we would have pulled this off without that location.
Right.
Straight
I'm
up.
like, we have an opportunity. Let's do this. But Bob has a girlfriend now. It's different. Sorry. We appreciated it for the time we were able to use it.
The penis pool isn't a penis pool anymore now. He's got a girlfriend.
I I'm sure the penis pool.
The
is
penis
full of
pulls only for her now.
Oh my gosh.
Now just a coconut tree.
This Q&A took a turn.
Diego and Leon, you guys co-directed. What were the challenges you faced as directors on the film?
Sleeping. No,
the fact that there were two of you, did you take shifts sleeping or did you sleep same time?
Same time.
yeah, same time.
It was same time. Yeah.
It's tough to spoon when you're alone, I guess. Yeah.
You know what was
Exactly.
kind of nice is I with two we were able to focus. I was able to focus more on like some of the technical stuff, and he was able to focus a lot with the actors. So it was kind of nice to be able to like I was able to work and help out Mike Peterson a lot and trust that Leon was out with the actors and really talking script with them.
Yeah, for me, honestly, it was as much as a lack of sleep kind of, gets to you. I think that it was incredibly fun, and it was very much like that due to the fact that we had two directors. So props to David on handling it on his own. But yeah, having two directors to a certain degree, and I mean, we've known each other for so long that it kind of just worked. We just kind of know how we each work, and we just go. So that was it was very comfortable set just because of the fact that you had that trust, not only between us, but it was like, and David's going to do his thing because he's a 48-hour film festival man and he's going to get it done no matter what, you know what I mean? Like, but it was incredibly fun. Splitting the load was definitely easier. And again, I started as an actor, so it was really fun to get to work with actors just to really, hone in on whatever they were thinking of doing. So it was the first time I met Shane, Randy, and I had a great time. That was my favorite scene right there. Just getting to work at the bar, the shots. I remember that there was we were able to get the camera to pan. What was the rig? You guys made a rig.
We did. We had a dolly. We had a dolly.
Dolly.
Right?
I had a motorized.
I just remember it.
Rig
the
and
bar,
event. Yeah, it was huge and stupid. And eventually, I just said, "Screw it," and I did the entire thing handheld.
Just
Push in
grabbed
on Shane, and it worked great.
And Leon, this was your first 48 and your first time working with us, right?
The first one was no, that was
No, he
Cooking
did
through,
the dating one. The dating one with Kristen
Cooking
and
Through Chemistry?
Carl.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. Way back.
long way, yeah.
Better
That was
cooking.
a long time ago, yeah.
That was
but yeah, this was my first 48. Yeah.
That was a 4 points though. That wasn't a 48. That was a 3-day challenge. Better cooking.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay.
So,
But that was the first time I ever worked with you guys.
right.
Yeah,
Back in the
that's
day.
right.
That was a good film too. We'll have to put that on the second season of Intellectual University. Kimberly, was this your first 48?
No, it was actually my second because my first 48 was on Sue Vickery's team, and that
Oh,
was
right.
on
Team
Team
XX?
XX. Yes, yeah, we did downstage. So in fact, we should, probably give a nod, of course. Hard because we lost someone this year. And I'll actually let Jen elaborate on that because I don't think I can handle it right now. But we filmed it at the Horton Grand in downtown. So downstage, we filmed at the Horton Grand, and yeah, we had Derek Johnston, who was actually very helpful and was just a great asset to our team during that time.
He was amazing. He was our token guy on the girls' team.
Yeah, he was the only one.
Have him, we wouldn't have that
Well
particular
loved,
location.
yeah, he was very well loved, and it's been hard because of that. Even aside from the coronavirus stuff, been a rough year. Thinking about that, anyhow. But yeah, this was actually my second, and to dive right in and do two films was incredibly amazing. And I was tired from the get-go because I can't remember whether I was working at the casino the night before or what it was, but yeah, I was definitely from the get-go just so I can get a little bit of sleep before we dove into everything on Saturday. So, and I was able to at least get a few hours, and then from that point on, it was just go for everybody. And yes, I do have to agree that Linda was definitely on fire and was really good at getting people not only, just getting their butts in gear, but also keeping them motivated.
Oh, that's
Very
nice. Thank you.
keeping people motivated. And honestly, I thought you were very positive and everything. You had to be, mean when you needed to be, but really, honestly,
Oh, someone thinks I'm nice. That's so awesome. One
Yeah, I
person.
wanna
That's all it
say,
takes.
Not only did you jump in as an actor when they needed one, but they gave you the longest patch of dialogue that was done in a single pass that had to be correct in the whole film. And it was kind of cruel that they did that, but you pulled it off really well. And
Yeah, you did.
I remember spending a lot of time just, hey, just take it easy, just tell me what it is. Don't worry about it. Yeah, man, that was a big monologue. I was like, why not get the monologues? But yeah, it was awesome. You did a great job.
What was the line again? I vaguely remember that I had to say it too, and I kept screwing it up.
Hold on a second. Skeezers. Martin's got to leave, so let's say goodbye to Martin.
Yeah, I got to take
Bye,
off,
Martin.
guys.
Bye, Martin.
Thanks, buddy.
Martin,
See
take
everyone.
care.
Bye, Martin.
Be safe working,
guys.
buddy.
See you on the part 3, the trilogy. Is that what it's called, Dave?
Out of here, Martin. Go.
Part 2, the trilogy.
Like the Matrix, 2
Once
directors.
you did 2, I mean,
Bitter continuance.
Up the ante for the second one. All right, see you guys.
5 directors.
Bye.
Take care.
I can't remember what the line of dialogue was. I know the prop was
Face mask.
Was a face mask.
Oh, I forgot that too.
What was the character? Who was the character?
Herman Hill.
Oh, Herman Hill.
Herman
Yeah.
or Henrietta Hill.
Millionaire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Shane. Because
And me, we both did. It was Herman or Henrietta.
Yeah.
Right?
We,
Right?
We
We
did
did both.
Yeah, we
Right?
did both.
That's right. Everywhere we could, we did everything.
we stuck in the karate with the coming of age.
When it was sci-fi and was
Coming
it
of, right?
mystery? I think it might have been sci-fi and mystery, which worked out fine because he woke up not knowing where the hell he was. So yeah, it's it was fun trying to figure out how to make everything work within the context of these movies. I, for one, figured out that I shouldn't show up so late to my own set. for whatever the reason is. No, it was unfortunate that I had to work that Friday. That was the start of a 5-city tour across the country for nurses.com that we were doing. I couldn't get out of it. But we made it work. The team kicked ass and filled in the gaps till I showed up. And it's really nice to work with people who are as passionate as this team was and as dedicated to getting it done as this team was. So we had challenges, and at every turn, everybody worked together to find solutions to the problems, to find ways to work around the challenges that cropped up. Everything from figuring out how to do the drone sequences and lighting up enough of the area in the middle of the night, to supporting each other when we needed to sleep.
And that's the set you want to work on. That's the type of set you always want to work on.
Yeah.
It just handles it.
It was lovely. But Becky Damask says you guys did great.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah. So anybody have any final thoughts on the movies? I really enjoyed watching them again this week, and I was reminded that we had talked about maybe cutting them together as well. But I kind of like watching them as separate pieces. I think it's why
I like them.
I think it's why I ended up not doing that, because I just kind of enjoy them being their own separate viewpoints. It's almost like episodic television,
If I don't know if Steven's still on here or watching the feed, but we had to do a run on, I think it was Friday night, and we had to go get a bunch of stuff. And I remember hitting the 7-Eleven in Rancho San Diego, and then we drove here to the Walmart near Fry's off of the 15, and we had a bunch of stuff, and I can't remember what the heck it is we got that time. I don't know. I'm wondering if he remembers. I can't remember. Like,
Food. I remember food for this with everyone there with multiple
I think it was like
shooting
that
going on. Like
or
we food was kind of like we ran out of food a couple times.
Yeah.
Water. We ran out of water.
Yeah. What else did we get? I wish he was, because we had to run.
There was also the print stuff, the magazine that got printed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I can't remember. Did I pick that up? Because I had to go somewhere in the middle of the night.
Didn't you go with
I don't
us?
remember what I did either.
I thought you went with us, but maybe.
No, I think
maybe-
I went with Derek, so it was just the two of us.
Yeah, because I know it was me and Steven.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think we all discussed it. So you guys left at the same time, and then we left, and you guys went on a completely different mission than we did to go get stuff.
That magazine, I was just looking for it. I know it's around here somewhere, but I'll post photos of it. Or if David or Shane, if you want it, I can mail it to you.
No, it's your souvenir. Stephen Schwartz says, "Eek! I remember we had to get toner for the printer. Then last minute he was asked to go get a toothbrush."
Oh yeah, I think I got it
Divas.
too, because at that time I still thought I was going to be a scripty, and I was like, dang it, and I couldn't find any notebooks at my house. I was like, oh, I'm here, I'm gonna get a notebook, I'm gonna get some pens, we got a whole bunch of random stuff that we needed. Yeah, I just could not remember everything that we got. That we get left with quite a bit of stuff. But I was like, all right.
Which prima donna actor asked for a toothbrush?
It was you, huh, Randy?
I will refrain from revealing who it was because I know. But no, this was a lovely experience. And again, any 48 could be a train wreck, regardless of doing anything near as ambitious as we attempted. And I don't think it was a train wreck. I think we have two really solid films, one of which is incredibly solid and got into the best of the 48 that year. And I think if it's not the only time we've made the best of, it was only like the second time we've made the best of.
Well, didn't you guys make best of with Lefty also?
Lefty wasn't a 48.
No, was that 4 points?
Lefty was just an independent short.
Independent.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was a wonderful experience with everybody. I know most of you I've worked with since Ron Christopher Jones. You and I still need to find another project to work on together.
Can I be in it too, so I can work with Ron
Oh my
Christopher
gosh,
Jones?
that would be amazing.
Dream come true.
That's what he's gonna sell me on. I got Randy and Shane back, and then you guys won't do it.
Ron, can you
But he
ride a
cast you for a
horse?
completely different movie.
Yeah.
But no, again, thank you guys for another wonderful experience with you again. It's lovely to have everybody together on this call. Fun to go back and rethink about the things that we did. I don't know, man. I'm done doing 48s, but like I enjoy the camaraderie of doing 48s. So I miss it a little bit.
You'll come back.
Maybe.
It's like a tease.
I know. He's like, I need a breather in between, but he'll come back. Then we'll all be together again. It'll be amazing.
Yeah. Well, with the whole AB5 thing, it might be the only way I can actually get people to work with me too.
Let's see what we can do in 48 weeks.
What's that, Randy?
See what we can do in 48 weeks. Take some time.
A feature?
Yeah.
We're like, oh God.
48 week feature film.
Well, actually, that's an interesting point. Next week's Intellectual University, one of them is Tossed Aside, which is what we did for the FilmCon challenge, which is a 60-day film challenge. So it'll be interesting to sit down and rewatch that with everybody and talk about how different that process was. 15 minutes long and it's 60 days to do it. So is it better than what we did here? I'll leave that to the audience to decide. Hey, look, there's a little one. Hi. Hi.
She counting all of us?
So All right.
That's my
Well,
daughter,
guys.
Maisie.
Hi, Maisie.
Amazing.
Maisie.
Well, guys, until the next time we get together for a Zoom or a film someday. Thank you all for coming and joining us on this. Please continue to be safe and isolated. Yeah, let's make a movie again as soon as we can.
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
You're here.
All
Thank
right,
you,
guys.
Dave.
Guys.
Thank you.
And Mikey, glad to see you
Bye.
upright,
Had a
man.
great time.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cheers.